Hi there, Chris from TotallyEV, and today I'm doing a quick first drive of the Lexus RX 450e. Now I'm at SMMT, which is a great day for testing a bunch of different vehicles, and I thought to start off with this one. Now the car itself starts from roughly £64,500, and the model that I'm sat in has got the Premium Plus pack, and therefore taking up to roughly £68,500. Now I thought just to give you my quick first impressions, given that I've got a very short amount of time with the vehicle, but I thought it might be quite handy for those potential prospective buyers. Now, first off, I must say, when I sat inside the car, I felt a sense of sort of luxury. Indeed, it's a Lexus, so you kind of expect that, but the seats themselves feel really nice and cushiony soft, including at the rear of the vehicle. And then the steering wheel just feels really nice to hold. It's actually kind of cushiony soft in some respects, so it makes it really nice. And then the insulation, as soon as I closed the door and then started setting off, I realized that the vehicle's cabin insulation has been done really, really well. So very impressive in that department. Now, of course, if you're getting a Lexus, one thing that might be very important would be the overall driving comfort. And by that, I mean the suspension system. Here, the RX 450e feels to be pretty good, at least from the very short amount of time that I've driven so far with the vehicle. It seems to be soaking up a lot of the anomalies. And as we go over this little speed bump, it just seems to be soaking up pretty well, and therefore meaning that I feel quite relaxed while driving. And indeed, that's probably what you're going to want to do, specifically if you're going on motorway commutes. Then it means that you're going to have something that's relatively comfortable. Now, in terms of the rest of the car, I've got the specs that will be showing on your screen right now, so you can actually see it for yourself. As I said, I've just literally sat inside the vehicle. I've got a spec sheet by my side, and therefore I don't want to really be looking down while giving you all the specs, but they'll be on your screen so you can actually weigh it up for yourself and get a little bit more information about the car. Now, what I'll say also is that sat inside the front of the cabin, I have no problems when it comes to headroom, nor legroom, and at the rear of the vehicle as well, I felt that legroom was a little bit limited, specifically given that the seats were slightly propped up, so therefore almost like diagonally wedged as such. But in terms of headroom, no problems whatsoever. So therefore, if you're 6 foot or 6'2" and you're sitting at the back, then I don't think you'll have any problems whatsoever, which is great if you specifically have, let's say, kids and you've got this as a family car. Now, in terms of the overall power of the car, it is okay. I'm going to put my foot down now because I'm just going to go towards the city route again, which I've just missed. So I'm just going to re-indicate and make sure that I'm going on the right way. Basically, at SMMT, you've got different routes that you can choose, and the cars are assigned with the different routes as well. So it means that you've got an indication as to where you can actually drive the car or where it's been authorized to drive the car. So I'm just going to come to a standstill over here, and I'm going to be a little bit annoying. I'm going to pull over to the side to let this Mini and MG zoom away, and I'm going to put my foot down. Okay. Okay, so it's got a bit of power, a bit of grunt to it. It's not exactly something that's going to send your head flying back to the headrest, but it still has a little bit of that power and bit of grunt to it. So it means that it's still pretty responsive. Obviously, it's a fully electric vehicle, so you'd expect that instant amount of torque delivery, and also something that will give you, well, a little bit more of an exhilarating feel when you're putting your foot down to the metal. But so far, seems to be pretty responsive, and I think right now I'm in the default driving mode. I'm not in a sort of sport mode as such, and really I don't think I really need to be, at least in this type of car. I don't know if you'd go on a sport mode, but do let me know in the comment section below if it's something that you would pick. Now, as for the design of the vehicle, I think subjectively it doesn't look too bad. The front of the vehicle has got a little bit of an elongated nose. At the rear, it seems to have a pretty nice design, specifically towards the B and C pillars, and I've got no complaints whatsoever. Of course, looks are always very subjective, so it's very dependent as to if you like the RX 450e or if it's something that you see yourself going, well, you know what, I prefer a design of another vehicle. But again, that's very subjective, so I can't really comment about some other people's opinions, but from mine, I think it looks the part. At least I feel, in terms of I'm going for a premium vehicle, then this would be something that would tick that box. So with that, I would like to also conclude with the use of technology. You've got a massive infotainment system. It seems pretty responsive from my very quick playing around with it. And then you've got a nice instrument cluster on this vehicle as well. I've got a head-up display. It's giving me my speed. The safety systems that are in operation is currently picking a 20 zone each time, so therefore you might have heard some beeping around, but it seems to be really nice because it gives me all the key information. I'm not sure if it integrates with Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. I would imagine so, and indeed, again, I haven't read the spec sheet. I've just sat inside the car and driven it, but I would suspect it would do so. Then you've got the climate controls, which I actually quite like. There's 2 physical dials on either side of the display, making it a little bit more intuitive than those that go for fully touch-based input. But on the flip side, you still have touch-sensitive input at the bottom bar of the infotainment system, which is dedicated for climate. So it seems like they've gone sort of like a hybrid route in this respect. So you've got fully electric, you've got a fully digitalized and also part dial. So I like that. I like the fact that they've integrated both. And yeah, the first impressions of this vehicle are pretty positive. So I'd be curious to know what you make of the vehicle. Again, this has been a very short drive. I can't really give you more impressions, or indeed the driving range. Right now I'm averaging 2.1 miles per kilowatt hour, but it's not going to be realistic. We're on a test route going around, and it's going to be driven by other journalists as well. So it's not going to give you an accurate reproduction as to what realistic range that you can attain from the vehicle. So hopefully I will get it in for review, and then I can give you my full analysis of the vehicle and to see how it compares to some of its competitors from the likes of BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Audi, Volkswagen, among many others. So there we have it. I've been Chris from TotallyEV, and hopefully you have enjoyed this very short video. And if you have, make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification, all of which would be greatly appreciated. As such, I've been Chris from TotallyEV, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves, and goodbye.